Okay, so today what we're going to cover is the integer rules, and this is something that for 6th grade and for future 7th, 8th, 9th grade, continued with algebra in high school, that these are just rules that are going to have to be memorized. So we have two sections of rules, and for the most part, our students should already know them. Now it becomes down to memorization. So when we're multiplying or dividing and we have a positive times a positive, we will get a positive. A positive times a negative, the answer will turn into a negative. A negative times a positive, our answer will turn into a negative. And negative times a negative, our answer will turn into a positive. So I know that sounds like a lot, but the easy way to remember it is if they are the same, the answer is going to end up being positive. If they are different, the answer is going to end up being a negative. So for instance, positive and positive, they're the same. Our answer is positive. Negative and negative, they're the same. Our answer is positive. On the ones where they're different, our answer is going to end up being negative. So over here, we have our adding rules, and it's very important not to mix these up. So a positive plus a positive. What we would do is we would add the numbers together and keep the sign. And in that case, the sign that we have is a positive. Positive plus a negative. Subtract and keep the bigger sign. Negative plus a positive is the same thing. And lastly, negative plus negative, add and keep the sign. So once again, when they're the same, you're going to add and keep the sign. When they are different, you're going to subtract and take the bigger sign. And lastly, whenever we have subtraction, we're going to have to turn that into an addition problem. So there's 3 easy steps here. Keep the first number the same, turn the subtraction into an addition sign, and 3, make the second number its opposite. So we're going to go through some examples. And once again, you can go ahead and pause, practice, and then check. All right, so number 1, we have a multiplication symbol. So I'm going to be looking at the multiplication and dividing rules. We have 8, which is a positive 8 times negative 3. So positive times a negative, my answer will be a negative. And then 8 times 3 will make 24. Okay, our next one, we have negative 15 divided by negative 3. So once again, I'm using my division and multiplication rules. Negative divided by a negative, my answer will be positive. And 15 divided by 3 will be 5. All right, next problem, we're going to switch it because now we are doing addition. We have a negative plus a negative. Negative plus a negative, we're going to add and keep the sign. So 3 plus 8 is 11, and the sign that we have is a negative, so that's what we're keeping. All right, number 4. Once again, we're adding, but now we have negative plus a positive. Negative plus a positive, we're going to subtract and keep the bigger sign. So 8 minus 3 is 5. And now we have to ask ourselves what's bigger, 8 or 3? Since 8 is bigger, we're going to keep that sign, and that is a positive 8. So it's going to be positive 5. And number 5, we have negative 3 minus 8. So first off, we have a subtraction problem. So we're going to go over here and look at the rules to turn a subtraction problem into an addition problem. Step 1, keep the first number the same. So negative 3 is going to stay negative 3. Step 2, turn the subtraction into an addition. So the subtraction is going to turn into an addition. And step 3, make the second number its opposite. So the opposite of positive 8 is going to be negative 8. So now we have the addition problem, so we can go up and use our addition rules. We have a negative plus a negative, add and keep the sign. So 3 plus 8 is 11, and the sign we're keeping is a negative. And lastly, we have number 6, which is increased in rigor because now we have to follow the order of operations. So we have subtracting, we have multiplying, and we have multiplying. So on the highest level, first off, we have to do what's in the parentheses. So we have -3 times -2. I'm going to look at my multiplication rules. Negative times a negative will make a positive. So I'm going to rewrite my entire formula. 8 minus negative times a negative makes positive, and 3 times 2 makes 6. Times -7. So I have 8 minus +6 times -7. Now, before I subtract, I have to multiply. 6 times -7. So I'm going to look at my rules again for multiplication. A positive times a negative will make my answer a negative. So -42. So now what we have is 8 minus -42. And once again, we don't want to be doing subtraction like this, so we're going to follow our subtraction to addition rules. Step 1, keep the first number the same, so 8. Step 2, turn the subtraction into an addition. And step 3, make the second number its opposite. So the opposite of -42 is +42. So now all we have is addition left. 8 plus 42 will give us 50.